What's going on, guys? Today we're back inside of Diablo Immortal, and I'm sitting here on my Crusader class, and a lot of you have been asking me what kind of legendary gear can you unlock on this class. So I'm going to be showing you all of that right here today by going on over to, as you can see, the Essence Transfer. With that Essence Transfer, we can actually see all of the available legendary items inside of the game for the class that you're currently playing. So once you get to West March, as I did here with my Crusader, I can now come on in here and look at all of these legendaries. Every single one of these I'm gonna be breaking down for you right here today, showing you what the details are as well as what they look like on my level 38 Crusader, I think, at this point in time. By the way, when I'm done with this video, I'm grinding to level 42 tonight. It's happening. Not in this video, but it's gonna happen. As you can see, we already have 2 legendary items. I actually picked up a few more, but I got rid of them because I'm rocking these ones. For the chest plate, we're rocking the springback chain, and for our primary weapon, we have Proof from On High, ranked up to level 4. But what else is available inside of Diablo Immortal? How many legendary items can you get? There are a bunch of them, and they're all right here. You're gonna know every legendary thing that you can grab right now in Diablo Immortal for the Crusader class. We're going to start off with the headpieces, and there are a bunch of them. So we're going to start out first of all with the Glower of the Recluse, and this one says when an enemy is blinded, immobilized, or stunned, your sweep attack deals 15% more damage. And you can get a nice little preview of what it looks like right here on the gear. Next up, we have Many-Eyed Aegis. Guardian inscription, your consecration now moves with you, and we're taking a look. The third headpiece is the Redeemer's Medal. Shield glare radius increased by 20%. We have Sudden Validation, Holy Beacon inscription. Holy Banner instead plants a holy beacon that continuously damages enemy within the holy light. More area of effect damage with this one. Retribution Ornament, Holy Statue inscription. Holy Banner is placed with a holy statue that forces all nearby enemies to attack it. So this is going to be giving you a dummy for enemies to attack so they can get that aggro off of you. Next up is Arrow Keeper, Command inscription. The inscription from Holy Banner now moves with you. And the last headpiece is Quester's Mane. Shield charge maximum charges increased by 1. So you guys could see already right here with just the headpieces being legendary how it can change your skills inside of the game, which offers us so many different builds. Now we have a lot more things to look at, but first let's take a look at what all these headpieces look like one after the other. Now we're going to move on over to the shoulder pieces, which also has a whole bunch of them to take a look at, so let's dive right in. Starting out, we have the Cradle of Pebbles, Guardian of Justice inscription. The Judgment instead summons a Guardian of Justice to fight with you. Now, you guys already know that I love this skill. Now, getting a Guardian that's going to fight along with me, you know this is going to be a shoulder piece that I'm dying to get, because my favorite class was the Barbarian, where you could get these Guardians to fight with you, and we could do the same thing or something similar with the Crusader. I can't wait to see this. Next up, we have Barbed Council, Mass Verdict inscription. Judgment now implodes after a short delay, drawing all nearby enemies into its center, but it no longer slows movement or stuns. Faith Ascendant, deal 10% increased damage for a few seconds after using either stage of Falling Sword. Civ Kit's Advantage, draw and quarter duration increased by 30%. Spine of the Adversary, Chains of Fate inscription. Sacred Chain now also causes chained enemies to take a percentage of all damage taken by any other chained enemy, but no longer stuns. Public Penance, Frozen Chain inscription. Sacred Chain now throws frozen chains that deal more damage and do not break from damage, but they have a shorter duration. Wind Blessed Pauldrons, Conjuration of Light, duration increased by 30%. Now we can already see that some of these skills are going to be massively increased by the use of just these shoulder pieces, and this is why legendaries are so important in the game. They literally change your builds and they change how skills work. Let's take a look at all these shoulder pieces one after the other. Next, we're going to move on over one more tab to chest pieces. Now, this is the legendary that I'm currently wearing. It's called Springback Chain. It increases spinning shield damage by 10%. Funny thing is, I'm not even using that skill, and I am getting the buff. I guess I should maybe switch. Feather Mail Coat. Judgment damage increased by 10%. Fortress Hermetic. Consecration radius increased by 20%. Baziger, Draw and Quarter periodically calls down a bombardment for 509 damage to nearby enemies. Hungerfire Shaitan, Shield Charge also unleashes a shockwave as its destination, dealing 512 damage to all nearby enemies. Iron Suzerain, Vacuum Inscription, Condemn now continuously drags enemies towards you. Justice Without Favor, Holy Fire Inscription. Conjuration of Light surrounds you and your allies with a holy fire that continuously damages all nearby enemies, but no longer prevents damage. Now let's take a look at all of these chest pieces, one after the other. Let's move on to some pants. Everyone needs to wear a pair of pants, starting out with Squire's Trews. Rescue Racer Inscription. You can now carry a passenger during draw and quarter. Cavalier's Courtwear. Trample Inscription. Draw and quarter now damages enemies when you run over them and knocks them away, but it no longer drags enemies. Bladed Jambu, Fiery Steel Inscription. Draw and quarter mount becomes a fiery steed that burns the ground and enemies, but again, no longer drags enemies. Tactics and Secrets, Shield Glare damage increased by 10%. Caliger's Greaves, Empowered Bash Inscription. Shield charge damage increased and shield charge can be charged up to further increase damage. Shield Waith, Shield Circle Inscription. Shield charge now charges to a location where it forms a shield circle that enemies and their projectiles cannot cross. Permanent Reproach. Condemn radius increased by 20%. Now, sometimes you're going to get legendary gear that does things that you don't want to do. Example, I wouldn't want to not be able to drag enemies behind me with the draw and quarter, because that's how I kind of rally everyone together and then do that AoE damage. So for me, I personally wouldn't want a piece of legendary gear that would take away that part of the skill. Let's take a look at all these, see what they all look like. Weapons. This is the fun stuff. Proof from on High. This is the legendary weapon that I currently have equipped. Leash Inscription. Falling Sword now chains enemies to a location and pulls them to you when activated again. So it's going to change that teleport and it's going to make you actually have the enemies pull to you after being chained. Tumult. Blade Storm Inscription. Falling Sword now summons a storm of blades around it, continuously damaging all nearby enemies, but can no longer be activated again for movement. Little Lance. Surging Sword Inscription. Falling Sword instead causes you to surge forward with your sword up to 3 times, damaging all enemies in your path. Air Spitter. Empowered Sword Inscription. Falling Sword instead unleashes a shockwave that can be charged up to increase range and damage. Long Palm. Thunderbolt Inscription. Sweep attack now strikes all nearby enemies. Closing Jaws. Gathering Sweep Inscription. Sweep attack now pulls all enemies it strikes to you. And this is the second legendary weapon that I have, and currently it's in my satchel. Let's take a look at it. Zarawan's Catch, Spinning Flail Inscription. Sweep attack now consumes energy to continuously damage all enemies while you move. Let's take a look at all these weapons. And now we're getting to your second hand, which is basically your shield. Sinkhole Cross, Hovering Shield Inscription. Spinning shield hovers at a location, damaging enemies and reducing their movement speed. Crevice of 10 Wings, Spiraling Shield Inscription. Spinning shield now spirals around you and does not return. Pouncing Shield, Avenger's Shield Inscription. Spinning shield now bounces between several enemies instead of returning to you. Bowyer's Remorse, Explosive Shield Inscription. Spinning shield now explodes when it strikes an enemy instead of returning, damaging all nearby enemies and knocking them away. Zaynal's Last Hymn. Consecration also slows enemy movement by 30%. Constant Scrutiny, Starshine Inscription. Shield glare now blinds and damages all enemies around you. Bone Bearer, Beam of Light Inscription. Shield glare now consumes energy to reflect a beam of light that continually damages enemies in a direction, but no longer blinds enemies. And taking a look at all of these shields, so what do you guys think? We have some crazy gear, and this is why Diablo Immortal is so insane. So many things that you could do to modify your builds, and different for all the different classes as well. What I need to do is dive into some other classes so that I can get you more videos like this one. I know that my buddy Scrappy Academy, or Nemo as you guys know him, over on the Scrappy Academy YouTube channel just put one out for the Wizard. You may want to go check that out. It's Scrappy Academy on YouTube. This is the spot for you guys to get all of your Diablo Immortal information. So make sure you come back every day, because every day I have a new video, and the best way to remember is to subscribe. And the best way to talk to me is coming through my Discord server, which is the pinned comment and in the description of this video. I'll see you guys back here later on today or tomorrow with another video. Until then, be good.